The year 2019 drew to a close. In Wuhan, a bustling metropolis in central China, a storm was brewing. It began subtly, in hushed tones, within the walls of hospitals. Doctors whispered about a surge in patients, all presenting with a strange, pneumonia-like illness. X-rays revealed ravaged lungs, but the usual suspects, influenza, known coronaviruses, were ruled out. Fear lurked in the corridors. What was this new disease, and where had it come from? Official statements were vague, downplaying the severity and assuring the public that the situation was under control. But the number of cases continued to climb. An unsettling silence hung over the city, a stark contrast to the usual cacophony of urban life. Something was terribly wrong, but the world remained oblivious, blissfully unaware of the pandemic that was about to erupt. By early 2020, the virus had broken free from its confines, hitching rides on planes and ships, rapidly spreading across the globe. The world watched in horror as case numbers soared in Italy, Iran, and Spain. The World Health Organization finally declared a pandemic. Fear, potent and raw, gripped the collective consciousness of humanity. Lockdowns, swift and severe, became the new norm. Cities that once pulsed with life became eerie ghost towns. Streets, usually teeming with people, were deserted, shops were shuttered, schools closed. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sirens of ambulances ferrying the sick and dying. The world had changed, seemingly overnight. In the scramble to understand the virus, attention quickly focused on a wet market in Wuhan. Chinese authorities proposed that the virus had originated there, jumping from an animal, likely a bat, to a human. This zoonotic origin theory seemed plausible. After all, SARS, another coronavirus, had emerged from bats in 2002. The world clung to this narrative, desperate for an explanation, a source to blame. The image of the exotic wet market with its caged animals and unfamiliar sights and smells provided a convenient scapegoat. But as scientists delved deeper into the virus's genetic makeup, doubts began to surface. The virus, officially named SARS-CoV-2, was different. Its genetic sequence, while similar to other coronaviruses, possessed some peculiar characteristics. Some scientists argued that certain features of the virus's structure, particularly its spike protein, didn't quite fit the profile of a naturally occurring pathogen. These dissenting voices, while initially few, raised the possibility that the virus may not have originated in the market after all. Could there be another explanation, one far more unsettling? The whispers started faint at first, then growing louder, pointing to a research facility just a few miles from the wet market, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Section 5, the Wuhan Institute. The Wuhan Institute of Virology, or WIV, wasn't just any lab. It was a high-security facility known for its cutting-edge research on, you guessed it, coronaviruses. In fact, the WIV housed one of the world's largest collections of bat coronaviruses. This information, coupled with the virus's unusual genomic features, was enough to raise eyebrows. Was it just a coincidence that the pandemic's epicenter was a stone's throw from a lab studying the very same type of virus, or was there a more sinister explanation lurking beneath the surface? Section 6. Silencing the dissent. Initially, the mere suggestion that the virus could have originated in a lab, accidentally or otherwise, was met with swift and brutal condemnation. The lab leak theory, as it came to be known, was branded a conspiracy theory, peddled by those seeking to sow discord and undermine trust in science. Scientists who dared to entertain the possibility, who called for transparency and a thorough investigation into the WIV's activities, were silenced, their reputations attacked. The media, for the most part, towed the official line, dismissing the lab leak theory as dangerous misinformation. The world, grappling with a devastating pandemic, seemed all too willing to accept the official narrative, however improbable it might seem. Section 7. The truth seeps out. But the truth, like a virus itself, has a way of spreading. In 2024, new documents emerged, leaked from within the Chinese government, that cast serious doubt on the official narrative. These documents revealed that researchers at the WIV had fallen ill with COVID-like symptoms in the fall of 2019, weeks before the first official cases were reported. The documents also hinted at risky gain-of-function research being conducted at the WIV, experiments that involved manipulating viruses to make them more transmissible or deadly, ostensibly to study their pandemic potential. This revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community. The lab leak theory, once relegated to the fringes of conspiracy, was suddenly a credible and terrifying possibility. As Section 8, a reckoning deferred. Today, in 2025, the world is still grappling with the ramifications of COVID-19. The pandemic, while abated, has left an indelible mark on our societies, our economies, our very way of life. And yet, the question of the virus's origin remains unanswered. Investigations are ongoing, but progress is slow, hampered by political sensitivities and a lack of transparency from the Chinese government. The world waits, holding its breath for answers. Did the virus cross over naturally from an animal to a human, or was it the result of a lab accident, a consequence of scientific hubris, a secret experiment gone wrong? Section 9, the future unmasked. The answer to this question is not just about assigning blame, it's about preventing the next pandemic. If COVID-19 did indeed originate in a lab, it raises urgent questions about lab safety, the ethics of gain-of-function research, and the need for greater transparency in scientific endeavors. The COVID-19 pandemic has been a stark reminder of our vulnerability, of how quickly a microscopic entity can bring the world to its knees. As we move forward, we must confront the uncomfortable truths, however inconvenient they may be. We owe it to ourselves and to future generations to learn from the mistakes of the past. The future of humanity may depend on it.